Who is the most influential basketball player? Complex Sports recently compiled a list of the 10 most influential NBA players in 2022, a task far more challenging than ranking the greatest players of all time. The debate on who holds the title of the GOAT like Michael Jordan or LeBron James was easier than comparing influence, which is subjective and multifaceted. The question was whether LeBron's influence could surpass that of Stephen Curry, given Curry's role in revolutionizing the game. Dwayne Wade added his perspective, highlighting the uniqueness of both players and their lasting legacies. While LeBron has had 2 decades to shape his legacy, Curry is still building his. The challenge lies in assessing influence while active. To arrive at their list, Complex Sports started with a pool of about 20 players, eventually narrowing it down to the top 10. Notable names like Dirk Nowitzki, Dr. J, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, and Bill Russell narrowly missed the cut. A voting panel ranked these players based on 4 key categories of influence. Transcendence. How profoundly did the player capture the imagination of basketball fans? Their skill set, style, and dominance were assessed. Innovation. What impact did the player have on changing the trajectory of the game? For instance, Curry's 3-point shooting revolution and Wilt Chamberlain's rule-changing dominance. Impact on the culture. How influential was the player in terms of fashion, pop culture, sneakers, and overall celebrity? Michael Jordan served as a prime example. Legacy. Voters took a big picture view of each player's NBA career, considering the lasting impact compared to others. Recent bias plays a role with older legends like Jordan, Iverson, Bryant, O'Neal, and Garnett against the ongoing legacies of Curry and James. The final list of Complex Sports' 10 most influential players in NBA history is as follows. 10. Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett may not top the list in traditional basketball categories, but there are 2 compelling reasons why he deserves his spot among the NBA's most influential figures, even ahead of more expected names. First, Garnett's groundbreaking decision in 1995 to skip college and go straight from high school to the NBA was a pivotal moment. He reopened the high school to NBA pipeline, becoming the first to do so in 2 decades. Despite doubts about his readiness, Garnett's success sparked a revolution, with other high schoolers like Kobe Bryant and Jermaine O'Neal following suit in the NBA draft. This shift continued until the league implemented the one-and-done rule in 2006. The second reason for Garnett's inclusion is his historic 6-year, $126 million contract with the Timberwolves in 1997. This record-breaking deal sent shockwaves through the NBA. It contributed to owners voting to reopen the collective bargaining agreement after Michael Jordan's final game with the Bulls in 1998. The subsequent 1998-99 lockout lasted 4 days and cost the league and players over $1 billion. Kevin Garnett's impact on the NBA transcends traditional statistics, making him an influential figure in the league's history. 9. Wilt Chamberlain. Let's begin with a man who defied all logic when he entered the NBA in 1959. Wilt Chamberlain, standing at 7'1" and weighing 275 pounds, possessed an athleticism the league had never witnessed before. His combination of size, skill, and agility made him the NBA's original cheat code, forever altering the game. Chamberlain's legacy is etched in records that still stand today, decades after he last played, considered his incredible feat of scoring 100 points in a single game, a record that eclipses even Kobe Bryant's best. He boasts an astonishing 122 performances with 50 points or more, while Michael Jordan managed only 39 in his entire career, including both regular season and playoffs. Chamberlain remains the sole player to average 50 points per game for an entire season, a feat that no one has come close to replicating, with a remarkable 38 points per game. Chamberlain's influence extends beyond records. He forced opposing teams to reevaluate their strategies and push the NBA to adjust its rules. During his time, his dominance led to changes like widening the lane and outlawing offensive goaltending, now called basket interference. Off the court, Chamberlain's legendary status expanded as he ventured into the world of film, sharing the screen with Arnold Schwarzenegger in Conan the Destroyer. In an amusing twist, Wilt sometimes outperformed the action hero in the weight room. Notably, Chamberlain's claim of sleeping with 20,000 women made his autobiography garnered immense attention, even if it was later acknowledged as an exaggeration. This notoriety rivals the 100-point game he dropped on the Knicks in Hershey, Pennsylvania. 8. Shaquille ONeal. Once upon a time, Shaquille O'Neal wasn't dominating our TV screens and making us laugh on Inside the NBA alongside Charles Barkley. He was a colossal offensive juggernaut, a unique blend of power, speed, and agility rarely seen in someone his size since Wilt Chamberlain. Apart from his legendary feats of strength, O'Neal's stats were off the charts. He clinched 2 scoring titles, earned 15 All-Star selections, and secured 14 All-NBA nods. He led his teams to 6 finals appearances and won 4 championships with the Lakers and Heat. During his prime years from roughly 1999 to 2005, O'Neal's dominance was so profound that one could argue he deserved the MVP title every season. He was the linchpin of his teams, carrying the weight of their fortunes on his massive 7'1", 300-plus pound shoulders. O'Neal's impact was revolutionary, so much so that he earned a spot on the 50 greatest players list in 1996 after just 4 seasons in the league. In essence, Shaq was a force unlike any other, past, present, or future. And 7, Kareem AbdulJabbar. In the NBA, Michael Jordan had the fadeaway, and Steph Curry has his iconic 3-pointers. But no shot in the league was as synonymous with a player as Kareem AbdulJabbar's skyhook. This unguardable, virtually guaranteed score move was a thing of beauty. With his long limbs and precise positioning, the 7'2" center spent 2 decades tormenting opponents with his majestic skyhook. It was a ballet of grace and precision. He'd elevate off his left foot, cradle the ball in his right hand, and delicately release it through the loop with flawless rotation. Defenders must have wondered why they even bothered to raise their arms. What sets AbdulJabbar apart is that he dominated the NBO without relying on athleticism. He wasn't leaping over opponents or zooming past them like Giannis. Instead, he used his size with astonishing precision and efficiency, and he was astonishingly durable, playing at least 65 games in every one of his 20 NBA seasons. AbdulJabbar's stats are mind-boggling. He's held the title of the league's all-time regular season leading scorer for an impressive 39 years until LeBron James eventually surpassed him. It's worth noting that his numbers could have been even more prolific if he hadn't spent 4 years at UCLA, a custom from a bygone era. Remarkably, he made just 1 3-pointer during his entire career. Additionally, no player has earned more MVP awards or made more All-Star appearances than this legendary center. But perhaps AbdulJabbar's most significant contribution transcends the game of basketball. He set an example for generations of athletes with his outspoken voice and unwavering stance against bigotry and injustice. From an early age, he courageously addressed societal injustices, even in the face of notoriety that made him a target for verbal attacks and death threats. AbdulJabbar's legacy extends to events like the Cleveland Summit in 1967, a gathering of prominent black athletes that he attended, organized by NFL legend Jim Brown in support of Muhammad Ali. A year later, AbdulJabbar boycotted the Summer Games, forfeiting his chance to win an Olympic gold medal since professionals weren't allowed to compete at the time. He refused to represent a country that disregarded the issues facing black Americans. Even at the age of 74, Kareem AbdulJabbar continues to be a powerful advocate. He regularly writes essays and editorials on topics ranging from racial injustices to the importance of vaccines. His impact on and off the court is nothing short of legendary. 6, Allen Iverson. Was Allen Iverson the best little man in basketball history? Some would argue for Isaiah Thomas, but when it comes to sheer impact, AI stands in a league of his own. He transcended the game and left a lasting mark that even Isaiah and others can't quite match. Iverson's iconic braids, tattoos, streetwear, and unapologetic authenticity set a standard for generations of pro athletes trying to be themselves. It all began when a rookie Iverson crossed up the legendary Michael Jordan on that unforgettable night of March 12, 1997 in Philadelphia. The fast, undersized Iverson made Black Jesus look human, and he became a cultural phenomenon. Iverson's influence extended off the court. His realness and street sensibility were so compelling that the NBA introduced a dress code because nearly every player started dressing the way kids raised on hip-hop did. But it was on the court that Iverson's influence truly shone. He wasn't just putting on a show. He played with a fierce determination. His 4 scoring titles spoke volumes. 25 years later, Bubba Chuck remains an enduring figure in basketball culture and far beyond. Allen Iverson's impact is as indelible as his crossover move, leaving a legacy that resonates with fans and players alike.